basically other than us, two other large models out there, Anthropic and OpenAI. And the majority of the way that then people are accessing machine intelligence is through a web page, a mobile app, or an API. But it's all hosted in the hyperscalers. The bifurcation comes with the open source community. And so the sort of second way of doing it, and Hugging Face now has over 50,000 open source models. There's a couple of leading ones, Llama, of course, from Meta, Mistral, Falcon from the Middle East. And so you've got this set of models where you can download the model, run it yourself, have complete control over how it runs, how you configure it. But it is just a model, right? Whereas those ones that are hosted in the hyperscalers are a complete application framework for an AI application. So there's a lot more work to get value out of those open source models, and the open source models are relatively small and less functional than the larger models. So the interesting thing that we asked ourselves was, is there another path? Is there a third way of doing this? And what our belief is that there are many enterprises that do want to own their own AI, but they need the whole AI application framework. They don't just need a model, and they'd like to have a company behind it supporting it, and they would like it to be as functional as those large models. And there are three primary reasons that we hear companies frequently saying for that. Number one is they have a large quantity of internal information, and it's impractical to use that information with these large hosted models. Number two is amongst that information, there's a lot of very sensitive and confidential information. And so they're concerned, even with the reassurances they're being given by the hyperscalers, they're concerned about where that information might go. And so they want to keep it within their own trust boundary within their organization. And number three, they're worried about cost. I just talked to a large retailer yesterday who said, we have our first operational Gen AI application up and running, and it's really exciting, except for the fact that it's already generating $200,000 to $300,000 worth of API expenses every month. Okay, yeah, this is starting to get really pricey to use generative AI. So for all those reasons, we think there's this interesting middle road where open source is attractive because companies can own it themselves. Own your own intelligence is the language I think that's beginning to emerge in the industry. We want to help companies own their own intelligence, but at the next level up, right? At that more complex, more capable model and compound AI application architecture.